Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello everyone, this is Ask Rob and Rob, the show where you get your questions in. Sometimes property related, sometimes a little bit different, but we like those questions too. And if they're useful and we feel other people will benefit from us answering them, well, you'll get on the show. And it's really simple to get on the show. So let's give you a quick reminder of that process.
It's so simple. All you've got to do is call 013 808 0035, or alternatively, you can go to propertyhub.net/ask. So come up with your question, leave us a voicemail, send that question in, and then you will get your question answered, just like Jamie's about to.
Hi, Rob and Rob. I've been a landlord now for 18 months and own 2 buy-to-lets in the Midlands. I have £125,000 to spend, and I had initially intended to invest it in property in the North West and Leeds and potentially York. However, because London's quite stagnant at the moment, my question is, could this be the cheapest time to actually buy a property in London? And as it is a bit of a sleeping giant, would that be a better long-term sort of 20-year goal than going for sort of 5 to 10-year capital growth in the north?
Love it, Jamie. First of all, well done on the progress you've made over the last 18 months. That's fantastic. And I also love that you're now thinking ahead and looking at what else you could do. And you know what, Jamie? It's really interesting that you picked out London, because London could be a sleeping giant for property investment. Is it the right time to go in now? Well, I think it'd be fair to say you'd be very, very early. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. The one thing you do need to be aware of is that there are a lot of areas moving right now. And if you go in early into London, you may find that other areas will charge on for a while longer, and London may not do that much in terms of capital growth. So therefore, you could be costing yourself money. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. And it's an area that we're watching as well. We think it's a little bit early, but that's just our opinion. You know, we could be wrong. We've been wrong with our predictions before. But over the long term, and yes, the long-term view is what you're taking, so that's fantastic to hear. Over the long term, London will do very well. So if you don't mind, over the short term, that you may find that you could have done better elsewhere, and you can live with that, and you're just looking at London as a 10, 20-year investment, then yeah, why not? Crack on now. So is it the best place to invest in the country right now? Probably not. But is it a great place to invest over the long term? Absolutely. So whatever you decide, best of luck. I think you'll do very well.
Okay, so let's move on to our next question and hear from Tom.
Hi, Rob and Rob. Just a quick question here about brokers. What information do they have access to that the general public don't have access to? And how do you go about finding a decent broker? Because everyone talks about, oh, get yourself a good broker. But I've been on the internet trying to look for a broker, and I find there's a huge amount of brokers out there, and I don't know how to pick a good broker. Or is it just done on word of mouth? Many thanks. Cheers.
Good question, Tom. What information do brokers have that the likes of you and me do not have? Well, first of all, there's a lot of information that anyone could have, but just filtering through it is a huge amount of work. So anyone can go and look at a best buy table and see the headline rate, but the criteria for different lenders gets extremely granular. So you're an individual with a particular set of circumstances, and you're buying a property that's got a certain set of features in terms of its price, its size, its tenure, its lots of things. Which lenders will lend on that combination? You could figure that out yourself by going through the criteria of every single lender and looking it up on their websites, but it would take forever. And the chances of you coming up with the best possible option having done that is pretty slim. And there's a risk attached with that, because if you get it wrong, it could end up costing you a lot of money in application fees and even purchases falling over because you missed something and ended up with an application that fell through. There is some information that brokers have access to that the rest of us don't, which is the inside track on how lenders are operating right now. So, for example, brokers often have a good sense of which lenders are under pressure at the moment and taking it a long time to get cases through. So there might be 2 identical deals, which you wouldn't be able to choose between, but a broker would know that one lender is really under pressure and they're taking weeks and weeks to get anything done, whereas the other is a lot quieter, so they could place you with the correct one. But there's something else that they can do, which is probably more important than just information, which is overcome obstacles. I've lost count of the number of times that in the course of a purchase, something weird has come up that's needed to be dealt with the lender, and my broker is just taking care of it. If you have to do it yourself, it's again going to take time, and it could be more difficult because you don't have the relationships or you don't know how to make your case properly. I'm not saying that it's impossible to arrange a mortgage yourself. Of course it's possible. People do it. But I do believe that for most people, it's just not a good trade-off in terms of time and effort compared to paying a broker. So let's move on to the second part of your question. How do you find a good one? Well, it is, of course, really easy advice to give. Oh, go find a good broker. But how do you do that? There is no quick answer of, oh, just do this. But there are a couple of pointers. First is, you touched on word of mouth, but your network. This is why having a network in property is so helpful and why you need to build it before you need it, because it means that when you do need it, you've got people who you can ask and you can make that recommendation for you. And the second kind of little shortcut is to look for brokers who are contributing to forums like the Property Hub forum, because that means two things. Firstly, it means that you can actually see the extent of their knowledge because they're sharing it, so you can see that they know their stuff. But also the fact that they're taking the time to contribute means that they are active. And sure, to an extent, they're doing it as a way of winning new business, but also they probably enjoy sharing their knowledge. And people who enjoy sharing their knowledge tend to be more knowledgeable. So Tom, I hope that helps you out with the case for using a mortgage broker. And if you do decide to use one, I hope those tips help you to find a good one.
So thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Tom. And thank you to you for listening. And thank you for joining us on Thursday, because I know you will, for the Property Podcast, the main event. And of course, we'll be back with Ask Rob and Rob next Tuesday. So until then, take care, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.